Either. I missed my autistic 7-year-old stepson's school dance last night, and I thought about how shitty that felt. And I thought, I just missed it because I'm gone for a couple days fighting against oligarchy and fascism. A lot of times I miss those special days and nights because I'm gone just performing stand-up comedy. And honestly, even though I miss my family and I lament missing those special days and nights, I thought of all of you. I thought of all the days and nights that our brave military veterans were away from their families, doing something much more noble and virtuous than telling poop jokes on stage. You were away from your families for days and nights and months and years. You lost your friends. You lost legs and arms. You lost so much. You gave so much. And now a 5-time draft-dodging Russian asset is cutting your health care? And a third of the country is pulling for it. We're going to get this thing started in about a half hour, but I wanted to thank you for being here. I wanted to thank you for your service throughout all of it, and I wanted to thank you for your bravery here today. It means the world to all of us that organized it. And by ourselves, each of us is a drop of water. Together, we are a flood. And flood is what we need to do. Thank you for being here. We're starting soon, and we're going to start some chants right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cliff. Good afternoon, DC. Let's do it again, louder. Good afternoon, DC. We are one. We are going to stand together for this. We are going to stand for our nation, for our citizens, for our neighbors, for each other, because that's what we do, because we are in America. I want to have an idea. I want to hear, cheer for me if you are from Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Amazing, amazing. Cheer for me if you are from the southern part of the United States. My word. Cheer for me if you are from the Northeast. Now cheer for me if you are from the West. Hey, people in the West, cheer for me a little louder. We want to make you a little bigger here. Amazing. Amazing. Do you know what this tells me? We are here together. Every single one of us. Just like in the history books. Here's the thing. Many people in the history books did this. I was born without really having to do a lot of this. We've been pretty okay for a while, for the most part. We have our flaws. It's our turn. It's our turn. It's our turn, and we are going to do it. We're going to stand together every single day until we have our country back. We're going to take our country back, whatever it takes, peacefully, solidly, because you know what I know? There are more of us than there are of them. We are one. Let's hear it. We are one. We are one. We are one together. We're going to take our country back together. Thank you. We are one from the north. Raise it for the north. We are one from the south. We are one from the east. And we are one from the west. We are the United States of America, and no one, Orange, no one, Elon, no one, anyone is ever going to divide us. What? USA, USA. The Constitution, who's heard of it? Who honors it? Who lives by that law? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain, establish this Constitution for the United States of America, we the people. We the people as one. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this together. I am loving these signs. I'm loving them. Listen, I'll tell you what, I'm not creative like that. I'm impressed, not gonna lie. What's that? Okay, let's do it. Here's the thing. I wanna know anybody who protested in the 70s, 60s, and 80s. I want you to cheer. Back then, you took your country. That's right, you did. I will, for everyone my age and younger, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you did back then. I want to thank you for what you're doing today. Everybody else, let's raise a hand, let's raise a glass, let's raise a cheer for our seniors who are here. Amazing. Amazing. I got you, man. I'm coming right for you next. Thank you. Thank you to our seniors who are showing up yet again. And thank you for everyone else. I want everyone else who is not a senior to cheer for uniting with the people who brought us what we already have. Let's give a cheer for the younger people who are here, maybe for the first time, maybe not, but who already owe a lot of indebted gratitude to our seniors. Amazing. I want to ask you guys, where are our veterans? Amazing. A debt of gratitude to you, who's active duty maybe, I'm not sure, actively in the military right now. Anybody who has signed that paper to commit your time, your blood, your sweat, your energy, your heart to our armed forces to protect our nation, my God, thank you. Let's give everybody who has ever done that a hand. Let's give them a cheer. Thank you for showing up again. Let's keep it going. One more time for the veterans.
All right, everybody, we've got a video that we made the first time this group came to DC, nowmarch.org and 14th Now. We came January 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And our goal at that time was to say to Congress, this guy is disqualified under the 14th Amendment, Article 3. There's no gray area. There's no question mark. We are governed by the United States Constitution. And the 14th Amendment, Article 3 says an insurrectionist cannot hold any office, let alone the highest office in the land. So we came January 4th and 5th to plead with Congress and to plead with the American people to demand that be honored. And unfortunately, on January 6th, not one member of Congress in either party had the vertebra in their back to even speak on it, to even say, but we want to show, I know you can't all see it, it's a big crowd, but those of you that can, we're going to put this up on the screens, and this is a video montage of that weekend, so please enjoy it.
When he takes the oath, whether with his fingers crossed or otherwise, it will be something that the Constitution says he is not qualified to do.
The reason I'm here today is because I believe Donald Trump is an illegitimate president, should never be allowed to be put into office again. I am the oldest brother of Officer Brian Sicknick of the United States Capitol Police, who was killed in the line of duty due to injuries he received while protecting the Capitol and all within it during Trump's insurrection on January 6th. My brother was not the only one who died as a result of Trump's actions that day. Other officers who were there and died at their own hand later on were officers Gunther Hashida, Kyle DeFreitag, Howard Liebengood, and Jeffrey Smith, all who took their own lives in days following the attack. No doubt despondent over the ferocity of the attack by fellow citizens, followed by the utter lack of action by those in power to do anything about holding those who engineered and executed the January 6th insurrection responsible for their actions.
All gathered here today for the same reason, to demand that Congress uphold the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, specifically Section 3, that states that an insurrectionist cannot be president. And if you have any doubt that this guy is an insurrectionist, you should come out of the cave that you live in and get a supercomputer in your pocket like we all have, because all the information's out there and it's undeniable.
Tell me, how, I'm gonna say it, in the hell are we gonna take the president-elect is gonna take the oath on the 20th when he has dishonored it?
If there's one group who can say this, it's Congress.
Yeah. Yes.
And if there's another group who can say this, it's us.
Yes. We're here because Merrick Garland is a coward. Yes. We're here because Christopher Wray is a coward. Yes. We're here because the Democratic Party establishment is filled with cowards.
Come on.
None of this is normal. Everything that's happening in the United States of America, before the eyes of the world, before our allies, before the men and women in Ukraine who are fighting against fascism, the same fascism that openly backs Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson and the entire MAGA movement are watching this and going, what the hell happened in the United States of America?
I became a citizen of the United States only 2 months ago. I swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution from enemies, domestic and foreign. And this is the crisis I've been called to come and talk about now.
I just wanted to say to the American people that if you voted for Trump, we don't think you're a bad person. We know that Amendment 14.3 says that insurrectionists or people that have engaged in insurrection are not qualified to serve in any official office. Ask yourself, Americans, whether or not you stand for fellow Americans, your family, or for Trump and the ruling class.
I'm a veteran, and I've been unable to sleep since 2015 because I never thought America would get to the point where they were idolizing a criminal, a rapist, an insurrectionist, and wanted him to take over the highest office in the country.
How did you come to this event? How did you hear about this event?
I was just going through the YouTube and I heard Jessica speak and I said, my goodness, somebody is taking some action. I want to get involved. I worked in the federal government. I was in the Air Force. My husband was in the Air Force. And I saw the sacrifices that we made that keep this country alive. And I had to get involved. And so when she came on, I said, yes, I want to join the movement.
We will never, never
get this moment back. In 2 days, our lawmakers will decide not just the future of this country, but the future of the free world. They have the tools, the legal mechanism, not only the ability, but the obligation to stop an illegal presidency from destroying centuries of sacrifices for freedom. The only question is, do they have the courage? If we pass this unthinkable threshold into fascism, generations will look back to this very moment to see if they did.
Thank you. And now, everyone, we are honored to have a retired Army drill sergeant here to walk us through safe protest instruction. Please make some noise, show some appreciation for Cherie.
Please bear with my service dog. I am a disabled veteran and she is still in training. And yes, this is one of our VA benefits. Where are my veterans? I promise this will not be death by PowerPoint, and I know that it goes against everything that we've been told to stand on the grass, but bear with it. This protest is not just today, it's all weekend long. Please remember, there will likely be people out here that are going to try to engage with us. Closer. No, we do not want that. This is a peaceful protest this weekend. There is nothing they would like more than to get us to react. We have the Speaker of the House claiming that we're paid protesters. Do not give in. Do not play into their narrative. Civil disobedience has its place, but that is not right now and today. Do not block entryways. Do not block sidewalks. We're showing them how it's done. Do not get destructive. We want to leave this place better than we found it. Leave no trace. Please be mindful when you are taking pictures. This is an amazing day. You all look amazing out there. But remember, there are people here that do not want their faces to be shown. Be respectful of them. All right? Be cautious of the metadata on your phone. All right. Last but not least, fuck Trump.
Let her hear it, everybody. Especially that last part. Last time, yeah, that's all right. Let it out. Fine with me. Or be like Melania and don't fuck Trump. Either way. Sorry to make you sign language that. Last time I came to D.C., I wore a suit and tie. I just figured that's what people do in D.C., when in Rome, that kind of thing. I'll wear a suit and tie. I'll try to look respectable. I'll try and be taken seriously. And in that time, since I spoke last on January 3rd. I've thought a lot in the past couple weeks about what I might wear today. Should I get a different suit? I only have one. Maybe I'll just change the tie. And the other night I was laying in bed with my lady, and she asked me, and it was one of the most embarrassing days I've ever experienced in United States history. The day she asked me, "What do you think you might wear when you go to D.C.?" And I decided not to wear a suit today. Today I decided to dress like somebody that I do admire. A man named Volodymyr Zelensky. And I would like to formally invite J.D. Vance in his eyeliner, in that diaper-wearing douchebag with the orange makeup on his fat elderly face, to come down and ask me about my outfit. We made a promise to Ukraine in 1994 as a country, as a people, as a democracy. If you go through nuclear disarmament, we will protect you. We made that promise in 1994, and we renewed it multiple times. On that day and since, we have betrayed that promise to a democracy. We have turned our back on every other democracy on this planet to side with Russia and North Korea and Iran. And anyone who thinks that is patriotism is one of the most intellectually simple people that have lived in world history. There is nothing patriotic about that. There is nothing tough about that. And if you're wondering why it might have happened, let me tell you. And it's not hyperbole, and it's not exaggeration, and it's not melodrama. Donald Trump is a Russian asset. And that did not happen overnight. It didn't happen last year. It didn't just happen at the beginning of the last election. Donald Trump has been investigated for all types of ties to Russia going back to the 80s. When he talked about purchasing the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami. Now, you may have know that because it's in mafia movies. It is a mafia hangout in Miami. He wanted to own that because he admires criminals, and he's always wanted to be one. He laundered money for those people, and then he went on to launder it for Russians. When he lost his ass the 1,000,000th time, when he lost money on the biggest scale, the Russians stepped in, and they formed for him a branding company. Because everybody needs a Trump steak, right? Trump neckties, Trump water, Trump wine, Trump vodka, Trump shuttles, Trump casinos, Trump mortgage, Trump airline, Trump entertainment, Trump university, Trump fighting league, all these other things. I probably left out a dozen of them. They all failed. That branding company started for him by the Russians with a CEO named Felix Sater. I encourage you to Google Felix Sater, because if you do, the first line that pops up is, Felix Sater is a Russian criminal. That is Donald Trump's longest standing business partner. I can't cover all the Russia connections because there are too many, but I have formed a website called DonaldLovesVladimir.com. I encourage you to go there if for no other reason than you need to learn this information because you need to be able to talk about it. You need to know the truth better than these other people have memorized their lies. Because the progressive people, the left of center, or even just the pro-democracy crowd in this country, we are still playing by the rules. If this was basketball, we are trying not to double dribble and not to foul and not to travel. And they are running down the court with nunchucks in both hands, shitting everywhere. You cannot beat lawless people with laws. You cannot beat people with rules who do not and have not ever followed rules. Moving forward from Felix Sater, let's fast forward a long way to 2015. Donald Trump hired as his lead campaign advisor a man named Paul Manafort, a criminal political mercenary named Paul Manafort, a man with zero morals, zero ethics, zero character, and zero integrity, a man who will do anything for a dime for any country that asks him. Paul Manafort's last job right before working for Donald Trump was to get a Russian asset elected in Ukraine. Viktor Yanukovych was the president of Ukraine. He extorted people, he bribed people, he stole, he embezzled, he spent money on lavish nonsense. It took a little while for the people of Ukraine to realize that he was a Russian asset, but when they did, they ran him out of office. And what Russia thought was going to be a 3-day takeover because they had an asset in the presidency has become a 3-year battle that they have still yet to win. Russia is not as strong as they pretend to be. Any American that wants to be like Russia is intellectually simple, and that's the nicest way I can think of to say it. Russia has a 10% or more inflation if they're even telling the truth about that. They make nothing in their country. They produce nothing but war and chaos and disinformation. When's the last time you had some Russian wine or drove a Russian car? Never. Vladimir Putin is probably the most sinister dictator on planet Earth today. He's not your friend. He's not coming to your birthday party at the bowling alley. He is your enemy. He wants to destroy this country, and it's his biggest dream and goal. Paul Manafort helped this Russian asset get elected in Ukraine. His very next job after that was to help a Russian asset get elected in the United States of America. And he did it for free. Paul Manafort took that position for zero pay despite owing Oleg Deripaska $60 million. I've been saying this literally for years. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a political scientist. I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a layman. I'm an ordinary guy. I just happen to have a supercomputer in my pocket, and so does everybody else in this country. This information is not hard to find. It's obvious, and it couldn't be more clear. He is a Russian asset, and it's never been more clear than now when we're seeing American foreign policy unfold as if Vladimir Putin wrote it himself, because he did. Donald Trump is not just an insurrectionist. He's a traitor to this country. He is actively creating treason from our White House. Our next speaker is coming to us from John Bonifaz. He's the president of Free Speech for People, a constitutional scholar, president of Free Speech of People, and he joins us by video if you'll check out these screens.
My name is John Bonifaz. I'm a constitutional attorney and the president of Free Speech for People, a national nonprofit organization dedicated to defending our democracy and our Constitution across this country. Thank you for standing up at this critical moment in our history for our democracy, for our Constitution, and for that bedrock principle that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. Let's start with this basic truth. Donald Trump is disqualified from holding public office, including the presidency. He disqualified himself on January 6, 2021, when he incited an insurrection against the United States, inciting a violent mob to attack the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power after his electoral defeat. This action, under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, makes him disqualified from holding any future public office. That critical provision of the Constitution, enacted after the Civil War as part of the Reconstruction Amendments, is designed to protect our republic. It makes clear that anyone who takes an oath of office and then proceeds to engage in insurrection against the United States is forever barred from holding public office again. Donald Trump is an illegitimate president. His presidency remains illegitimate. And we know this because 3 separate jurisdictions in this country that looked at the merits of this question found the same thing, that Donald Trump is disqualified. The Colorado Supreme Court ruled this way. The Maine Secretary of State, in a petition brought before her, ruled this way. And in Illinois, in a case that we brought at Free Speech for People, a court ruled this way. All 3 of these jurisdictions found that January 6th was an insurrection, that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection, and that Donald Trump is disqualified from any future public office. In Trump v. Anderson, the U.S. Supreme Court case coming out of that Colorado Supreme Court decision, all the Supreme Court did was define that states do not have the right to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment in federal elections. Now, we disagree with that ruling. They invented out of whole cloth an exception to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment that the framers of that amendment never intended. But leaving that aside, they never reached the merits of that question. And so those other decisions from Colorado, from Maine, and from Illinois all remained untouched after Trump v. Anderson. And there is still the very clear fact that Donald Trump is disqualified from holding public office. Let's go to the second truth. Since assuming the presidency, Donald Trump has engaged in multiple abuses of power in just the less than 2 months that he has served as president. He has abused his power and making him impeachable. And, you know, the framers created a clear check and balance with our system. There would be no kings in America. That was their intent with respect to this Constitution. Article 1 covers the U.S. Congress, co-equal branch of government. Article 2 covers the executive branch. And Article 3, another co-equal branch of government, covers the judiciary. 3 co-equal branches of government. No kings in America. But in addition, the framers placed into the Constitution an extra guardrail against any would-be tyrant or monarch. And that guardrail is the impeachment clause, Section 4 of Article 2. And that clearly is what we're dealing with here now. Impeachment is the remedy for a corrupt, lawless president. Let's go through some of these impeachable offenses, which we've documented at impeachtrumpagain.org. More than 250,000 people across the country, I'm sure many of you, have joined this campaign at Impeach Trump Again to demand impeachment proceedings against this lawless president. He starts out by abusing the pardon power, pardoning 1,500 of his fellow insurrectionists. Clearly an act of self-dealing. Many of these were violent criminals who attacked the Capitol, but it was also a way of protecting himself because he had incited that very insurrection. He then moves on and tries to end birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment through an executive order. This is part of the Constitution. The only way you can remove something from the Constitution is by amending the Constitution. If he wants to present an amendment bill to the U.S. Congress, he needs to get 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate to pass that bill, and then he needs to get 3/4 of the states to ratify it. That's the only way he removes birthright citizenship from the Constitution, but he can't do it by executive order, and 2 federal courts have already found that to be unconstitutional. But that is also an abuse of power, and it is an impeachable offense. Then Donald Trump goes on and he seeks to freeze funds that have been appropriated by the U.S. Congress, hundreds of millions of dollars of funds that are designed by the U.S. Congress for various different programs domestically and across the world. This action, as Senator Angus King of Maine has said, is the biggest assault on the U.S. Congress in our nation's history. It is. It is the biggest assault. It is also an abuse of power, and it's an impeachable offense. And, Congress is the entity that has the power to appropriate the money. It's not for the president to decide whether those monies get released. They have been appropriated duly by Congress, and that must be respected. And then we see court orders that have been issued since these actions have taken place in terms of freezing funds. And those court orders are being defied, which is yet again an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Donald Trump goes after his adversaries for retribution, firing Justice Department attorneys who investigated his crimes, firing FBI officials who investigated his crimes. These acts of retribution are abuses of power, and it's an impeachable offense. Donald Trump declares emergency at the border with Mexico, an abuse of the emergency power, claiming there's somehow an invasion happening, which then he uses to send thousands of troops to the border, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Donald Trump has engaged in threatening to displace Palestinians from Gaza, wholesale ethnic cleansing, which would implicate all Americans in war crimes and crimes against humanity, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. The list goes on, and we have documented all this at impeachtrumpagain.org. And this is why it's so critical that we invoke this remedy at this moment in our history. We recognize that the votes may not be there today to start impeachment proceedings, but we need to raise this call all across the country. We need to raise it with our members of Congress. We need to raise it with our friends and our neighbors. We need to make clear that Donald Trump he's already engaged in multiple abuses of power, and he must be impeached and removed from office. This is an existential moment for our nation and for our democracy. It requires all of us to stand up and be clear that we will defend our Constitution, we will defend our republic in peaceful means, but we will demand that our elected officials in Congress carry out the mandate of their oath to protect the Constitution at this critical time. And today that means that they join Congressman Al Green, who has already stood up to demand impeachment proceedings against this president, that they join him and they carry out their oath to stand and defend our democracy. Thank you all for being here today, and we will continue to march on together in the defense of our republic.
I'm very happy and very honored to introduce our next speaker. He is the founder of American Opposition, strategic communications expert, and proud immigrant from the Dominican Republic. Please give a very warm welcome to Carlos Alvarez Araños.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carlos Alvarez Araños, and I'm the founder of American Opposition. We built American Opposition because our elected leaders have failed us, because the institutions that were supposed to protect democracy have crumbled in the face of corruption and cowardice, because we refuse to sit by and watch as our country is dismantled from within. We are gathered here today not just to protest, but to demand action. Not just to speak, but to be heard. Not just to resist, but to win. Because sometimes the enemies are foreign, but sometimes they're domestic. We are here because Donald Trump has already done what we swore we would never allow. He has turned this country into a fascist dictatorship in all but name. He has corrupted our courts. He has hijacked our government. He has destroyed our economy. And he is ruling not as a president, but as a king. For years, we have warned that this could happen. We have seen the signs, the attacks on our press, the destruction of our institutions, the purge of civil servants, the elevation of billionaires who serve their own interests over the interests of the people. And now we see what happens when those warnings go unheeded. We are watching our country be taken from us in real time. And let's be clear about what Donald Trump has done. He has weaponized the Department of Justice to attack his political opponents while pardoning criminals who serve his agenda. He has purged government agencies of experts and installed loyalists who will carry out his orders, no matter how illegal or dangerous. He has shut down investigations into his own corruption while launching baseless attacks against those who dare to expose him. He has betrayed our allies, weakened our global standing, and given our enemies everything they could have ever hoped for. And he has done all of this with the support of his enablers in Congress. Men and women who took an oath to the Constitution, but who now submit to a man who has spent his entire life serving only himself. Right now, at this very moment, there are Republicans in Congress who know what Donald Trump is. They know he's a danger to this nation. They know he is unfit to serve. They know he is a fraud, a criminal, and a coward. And yet, they stay silent. They stay silent because they fear his followers. They stay silent because they fear him. They stay silent because they've convinced themselves that someone else is going to fix this. But history doesn't bend towards justice on its own. It bends because people like us demand it. Because we make it so. So today, we send this message to every Republican in Congress who still believes in the rule of law. Stand the fuck up! You can stand with Donald Trump or you can stand with America. You can continue to cower in the shadows or you can step forward and do what's right. You can fight for your own career or you can fight for your country. But you can't do both. We are launching a nationwide campaign to pressure every Republican to join us in removing Donald Trump from office. We are naming names. We are targeting districts. We are organizing in ways that no opposition movement has ever organized before. We will protest. We will boycott. We will discover their secrets and share them with the world. And if they refuse to act, we will make sure they pay personal penalties for as long as they live. Their choice is simple: America or Trump. Because, let me be clear, the American people are more powerful than Elon Musk. We are more powerful than Congress. And we are more powerful than Donald Trump. We are ready to fight. This fight is not just about politics, it's about our survival. It's about the families struggling to put food on the table while Trump lines his pockets. It's about the communities destroyed by climate change while Trump cuts environmental policies. It's about the students whose education is being censored, the women whose rights are being taken away, the workers who are being exploited, the immigrants who are being scapegoated, and our marginalized communities who are being brutalized. It's about the journalists and the scientists who are being silenced. It's about every single person in this country who still believes that America is worth fighting for. This is not a fight we can afford to lose. We are not going to wait for the next election. We are not going to wait for the courts to save us. We are taking action now. Starting today, we will be mobilizing in every state, in every district, in every community across this nation. We are building a movement that no politician and no media can ignore. We will make sure that every Republican in Congress knows that their silence is complicity, and that complicity is a death sentence to our democracy. And we will make sure that every Democrat faces a similar reckoning. Because allowing fascism to take hold is just as unacceptable as practicing it. My message to Chuck Schumer, to every Democrat who voted to censure Al Green, and every Democrat who fails to understand what Trump is and validates him by voting for anything, wake the fuck up! Wake the fuck up! Who needs enemies when we have friends like these? Yesterday, Chuck Schumer told us that he's going to give Trump permission to destroy our government because Trump would do it anyway under a shutdown. That is the definition of anticipatory obedience. It's also the worst political betrayal in American history. The Democrats are capitulating without calling for a single protest or strike. They're losing without even trying. An entire branch of their power is being left unused. So hear us, Democrats. When your nation needs you to stand strong, you're submitting. Your cowardice will forever be your legacy. Shame on you! We will never stop fighting for a country where justice matters, where no one is above the law, where leaders serve the people, not themselves, where democracy is not a slogan, but a reality. We are fighting for our country that our children can be proud of. And I promise you this, Donald Trump will not win. He can gut our government. He can stack the courts with loyalists. He can use every dirty trick, every act of violence, every abuse of power available to him. But he will not win. Because we are stronger than him. We are stronger than his staff. And we are stronger than his billionaire enablers. And if they think we will back down, if they think we will get tired, if they think we will ever accept a world where Donald Trump is our dictator, they have no idea who they're up against. We are the American people. This is our country. And we will never allow them to steal it from us. So will you all please stand the fuck up? Thank you very much.
Let him hear it. Let him hear it. That's the energy we need in this country right now. And to our Democratic members of Congress, if you cannot show a backbone, sit down and get somebody come in there who can. I am honored and excited to introduce our next guest. I'm actually personally a fan of this fella. He was a Capitol police officer during January 6th. He's politically involved all over the country, traveling around, speaking and supporting people that need support. And he is the co-host of an awesome podcast that I listen to every week called Clean Up on Aisle 45. Please give it up for my new friend, the amazing Harry Dunn.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, y'all. Appreciate it. Really, really, thank you so much. What a speech that we just heard. My goodness. How the hell do I follow that? Can I just talk to y'all for a moment? I'm gonna be very honest with you all. When I drove into DC, I drove here. Who crazy, right? Who drives in? When I drove in, I saw a lot of you all walking here to the rally points. Signs, flags, cargo pants, military gear, proud wearing it. I had a fucking PTSD attack on the way in. You're laughing. I'm dead fucking serious. The last time I saw everybody like this, they were beating the shit out of me and my coworkers at the Capitol. I tell you what, traitors. However, Donald Trump has referred to January 6th as a day of love. Hold on. This right here is love. I feel this. I love you all. And you all give me a little bit of whatever the hell I got inside of me that makes me want to keep going and not stop. So this is what a day of love looks like. Not what happened on January 6th. I'm not a veteran. I served my country in that building for the last 16 years. So I said to myself, this is a veterans event. I'm not going to speak. I just want to be here in solidarity. I just want to support you all. The veterans are the backbone of this country. You all are. And look what Donald Trump is doing to you all, to us. You all make this possible. And listen, I've been called hero. I've got numerous awards. Y'all chanted Harry. Listen, I appreciate all of that shit. I would trade in every award, every service medal I got for y'all to not know who the fuck I am. But you do know who I am. And what we need right now is a lot of people, a lot of somebodies to do something to save our country. I'm encouraged when I see this. This is encouraging. Our institutions have failed us. Congress, they impeached Donald Trump. The Senate failed to convict him. That institution failed. Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you, McConnell. Fucking loser. Okay. The courts are going to hold him accountable. They ruled that he's immune now. Well, fuck, the courts failed us. Damn. Is there anybody else that can save us? Yeah. Hold on. November 5th, we had an opportunity. And you know what? We fucked it up. People sat at home. People got complacent. Maybe. People got complacent. You know what? America failed me. If I could be honest, America failed me. We had the opportunity. This ain't about tariffs. This ain't about policy and gender. This is about what's fucking right and what's fucking wrong. I could debate. I could have conversations with people who believe tariffs are a good thing. I can have conversations, but I can't have a conversation with anybody who believes Donald Trump sent a mob on his watch to the Capitol to commit an insurrection. They said it wasn't an insurrection. Okay. Listen, I like to be very factual. What's the definition of insurrection? Anybody know? A violent uprising against the government. That's exactly what happened on January 6th. So how fitting, on 3/14, we are here gathered. And there's a clause in the Constitution somewhere, 14.3, to remove Donald Trump. Let's get some people with some backbone to stand up and let's get that done. Listen, I just wanted to come out here and just thank you all and just stand with y'all in solidarity and unity because I stand with you all just like you all stand with me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It means so much to me. And I'm truly honored to be here. Thank you, y'all. Keep fighting, y'all.
Keep it going for Harry Dunn, everybody. Let him hear it. Let him know you appreciate him. I just want to add something to what Harry said. On that day, on January 6th, this coward, draft-dodging, bone spurs, orange-faced traitor in our White House, begged, and demanded that Capitol Police remove the magnometers. They weren't armed because they couldn't be. Some of them still were. He wanted those mags removed so that they could get in there with their guns. That's what he wanted. That's what he tried for. Don't ever forget that. I know Donald Trump is a traitor that needs to be removed from office now. I am honored to bring up this next speaker and our honor guard. Make some noise, those of you who are here because of Sons of Liberty. If you're not familiar with Sons of Liberty, it is a progressive group of veterans with a big online presence. They're amazing people. They're here today with our honor guard, and this is the administrator of Sons of Liberty, my new friend, Big Sarge.
What's up, fam of Liberty and everybody else? Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm not going to talk for very long because the speakers that have been up here already have said pretty much what I wanted to say. I had a speech. I can't remember shit anyway, so fuck it. I said I wasn't going to swear. So I'm going to try to keep the profanity to a minimum. I'm here because I'm a veteran. I'm here because I love my country. I'm here because I love all of you, even though I don't know you. And you don't know me. Maybe you do. Maybe you saw me on a video talking about Velveeta Voldemort and his buddy Vladimir Futon, the couch fucker. Maybe you heard me call Elon Musk Elon Muscolini. How many of you in this crowd are veterans? How many of you in this crowd go to the VA? How many of you in this crowd have PTSD? I want to apologize to Officer Dunn for giving him PTSD because we all look like the people from the January 6th insurrection. I started Sons of Liberty deliberately using the name and the colors, the chopped up join or die snake, specifically because a bunch of guys that I served with in 2015 decided liberals aren't patriots. They said liberals hate their countries. I heard that from civilians too. If I'm not a patriot, why the fuck did I serve and you didn't? Now they're tearing down the VA. They want to privatize it so these billionaires can make money off of you. We don't want to privatize the VA. We don't want you to destroy the VA. Stop firing people from the VA. Honor the social contract that exists with the nation's warriors. We who have borne the battle. That's the motto, the mission statement of the VA. It came from Abraham Lincoln. Guy was a Republican. Republicans like to claim Abraham Lincoln as one of their own. They don't act like it. I'm going to wrap things up because I'm starting to get a little emotional and I don't want to cry in front of all you. I got an image to maintain. How can you serve your country. Get involved in politics, whether you are calling your congressperson, your representatives, your senators, call the people at the local level. Go out and vote. If they're not representing you, primary them. Primary Chuck Schumer. These people do not give a fuck about you. If they did, we wouldn't be in this mess. These guys don't give a fuck about you, so nobody is coming to save you but you. If you're a civilian and you never served, that's fine. Guess what? You can still serve. You don't have to swear an oath. You can honor that oath. Take the freedoms that are afforded to you by the men and women who gave their lives for this country. Call your elected representatives. Write them letters. I don't care if you photocopy a thing that you typed out. You still did it. Send it to them. Do this every day. Go to their offices. Demand an audience with the people who say they represent you. If they don't represent you, primary them. Vote them out of office. Find people who do. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. But there are people who care about this country, who are not beholden to Donald Trump, an illegitimate vice president who doesn't need to be in office. We all swore an oath to defend the Constitution. That Constitution includes Amendment 14, Section 3, the Insurrectionist Clause. It doesn't just include traitors. It includes aiding traitors, such as, pardoning January 6th insurrectionist traitors. So fuck Vice President Donald Trump. Yes, I said Vice President, because we all know who the shadow president wants to be. So fuck Trump. Thank all of you for coming out here to show your support. Maybe I forgot not to swear. Sorry. That's my time for today. If you follow my channel, 2 claps and a rag. Woo!
Let him hear it, everybody!
I was talking to Jessica Denson. Give her a round of applause. Jessica and I were on a YouTube Live with Tim, with Big Sarge, on the Sons of Liberty channel. And we were talking about what needs to happen. The conversation was, what needs to happen? What can people do? What do people need to see? And Jessica was talking about planning this protest on March 14th, 3/14, to further the discussion about 14-3. A little play on numbers, if you will. And then I talked about what I thought needed to happen, and that was sort of a 4-part thing. First thing I said is, the American people need to see United States veterans standing up against fascism. The American people need to know that tough, brave veterans do not support fascism. People on the left need to see it so that they know that they're not alone. They need to be energized and invigorated. People on the right need to see it so they can be awakened and sobered, that they do not have a monopoly on service or veterans or patriotism. And these fascists in power needed to see it so that they know whatever it is that you think you're about to do to us is going to be a lot fucking harder than you think it is. So we decided to make this day a march, the 14-3 protest and a veterans protest, and here we are. I put out a call to volunteers asking if you could please send veteran videos. I got another volunteer to make the video. Everything I've done is with volunteers. The DonaldLovesVladimir.com website, volunteer. A lot of the info for that website, compiled by volunteers. These mobile billboard trucks rolling around with that website on them, money from volunteers. I'm not doing it by myself. I'm doing it with you. I couldn't do literally any of it without you. So now we're going to show the video that we were able to make from the submissions that you sent us in and the kind volunteer, Ian Gagnon, who made the video for us. Please check out the screen. Gonzo!
My name is Glenn Furman. I am not a veteran myself. Instead, I am here to speak to you today on behalf of a veteran who is no longer with us. His name was Sergeant Denville Dale Adams, but to me he was just known as Grandpa Dale. He served in World War II with the 82nd Field Artillery 1st Cavalry Division from 1938 until 1944, but it is what he did when he came home that matters most today. He was National Adjutant of the Disabled American Veterans, also known as the DAV, from 1962 until 1988. And during his time as leader of that organization, he fought tirelessly for the rights of veterans, regardless of their gender or skin color, and regardless of what theater they served in. Thanks to his leadership, PTSD and Agent Orange victims are able to receive treatment at the VA today. And thanks to his leadership, the VA exists as a cabinet-level agency. He has many accomplishments, but they're too numerous to list here. But what I am here to do is tell you that the Trump regime is tearing down everything that he built. Veterans are being fired from their federal jobs, their health care is being taken away, and their health care providers are being fired en masse. This is an outrageous overstep of executive power, and it is just one of the many reasons why we are tumbling ass over tea kettle into fascism. I am here to give you my solemn vow as a disabled civilian activist that I will refuse to allow Grandpa Dale's legacy to be destroyed. I will continue to fight for the freedom, dignity, healthcare, and rights of everyone in America, veteran or civilian, regardless of skin color, religion, gender, orientation, disability, or creed. And I ask you to join me. Don't let what my grandfather did go to waste.
My name is Jay Ryan. I'm a veteran from the United States Army. I served in 1985, 1988, Fort Polk, and I also served in support of Desert Storm. I served in the country, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, 1991. I also am a DoD civilian, 20 years of service, retired now. But I set an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States, and I intend to fulfill that oath. I'm deeply disappointed as to where we are today. Our country's always stood for freedom, always stood for justice, has always stood for equal opportunity. That's not where we're heading.
Hello, Sons of Liberty. My name is Anthony. I served 2 years stateside in the U.S. Army from 2010 to 2012 at Joint Base Lewis McChord. I hate Donald Trump because of everything that he stands for and the fact that he is ruining this once great country that I know and love. Thank you.
Rob Bresson, Corporal, United States Marine Corps. I'm against this administration because their policies go against my fundamental beliefs as a veteran and an American. I'm for inclusion, not exclusion. I'm for love, not hate. I believe our strength comes from our diversity and our ability to learn from each other. I believe in actually protecting our children. I'm a gun owner that believes in responsible gun control laws. I believe in collaboration over authoritarianism. Most of all, I believe in unity, not division.
I am Brian Sargis, retired Coast Guard Marine Science Technician, and I also served in the Navy in Europe, Central America, our territories in California and Alaska. I opposed treason for obvious reasons. It destroys our country, as well as fascism.
I am retired Master Sergeant Chad Rogers. I served in the United States Air Force from 1992 to 2013. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will not sit idly by while this administration cozies up to a dictator and treats Russia like an ally under the guise of peace treaty. I will not sit idly by while this administration erases the history of my brothers and sisters in arms under the guise of DEI removal. I will not sit idly by while this administration guts the VA and keeps needed care and treatment for myself and fellow veterans under the guise of government efficiency. I will not sit idly by, and neither should you.
Hello, my name is Jeff Raybuck. I served in the U.S. Army for 20 years, retired. I also was a public school teacher for 18 years. Served as an air defense artilleryman. And the reason that I am upset is because I don't like fascism. I don't like what Trump is doing to our country. And I don't believe we deserve a king. Trump also has zero qualities that I admire.
My name is Charles Allen from South Carolina. I'm a retired U.S. Air Force veteran. I was a Russian linguist in the U.S. Air Force and then a government contractor after I retired in 2018. I am currently overseas with an effort to help Ukraine. That has now stopped because of what is going on in our government. Russia has infiltrated our government. There is no lie, it's blatant and it's right in front of our face. It's following what Putin did in Russia, and now it's happening in the US, which I never thought I'd see. I wish you the best. I will donate everything I can to help your effort. Thank you for being a patriot and taking this on. God bless.
United States Air Force veteran here. I served in Saudi Arabia and Anchorage, Alaska. The reason I am anti-Trump and anti-fascist is because most of my peacetime service was spent monitoring Russian aggression. I spent countless hours in toxic megahertz frequencies in the FLR9 that eventually gave me cancer, which I beat. But here we are with the president who is now up Putin's ass. And what was my service even for?
My name is Richard Van Horn, Staff Sergeant, United States Army. I served from 2003 to 2012. During that time I did 3 tours to Iraq. I did not go over there to fight a dictator, to come home and have my rights stripped away by one. I am absolutely against everything Trump stands for.
I served in the Army from 2008 to 2012 and was deployed to Afghanistan. I'm tired of these GOP traitors, cowards, liars, and thieves pretending they care about veterans even as they cut all of our programs. And I did not put on a uniform to have some Russia-friendly politicians dismantle our country.
I'm former Army Staff Sergeant Tim Greenwood, and I'm going to march in D.C. on the 14th for this guy, PFC Marvin Cohen. He was in the Army. He marched across Africa, Italy, and Germany and helped to liberate camps. He fought fascism so that we wouldn't have to. I'm going to step up, and I hope you step up too.
I'm just a high school dropout who ran off in 1965 to join the Army. As a medic in Germany, eventually awarded a direct commission in the Air Force. That Russian asset in the White House is wrecking the government and carrying out his pledge to destroy the Constitution. Ain't gonna happen. Our nation's on the verge of rebellion right now. It will be bloodless. We'll see.
I'm Rick Whitecotton,
I served in the Navy. I entered in 1978 and I exited in 1988. And I was on a submarine. This is a picture of me and my mates on a submarine in my division, the Reactor Control Division.
Took it down. There we go. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I tell you, I'm really opposed to all of these things that are going on right now. It's number one, it's chaotic. That doesn't make any sense. These things are already allocated by law, by Congress. I'm completely opposed to just somebody that's a civilian just saying, no, we're just not gonna go do that. Second is, veterans are being hurt far more with these reductions in force and these firings, these indiscriminate firings that are going on across the whole government right now. And the Veterans Affairs Department and the disabled veterans, they're being hurt worst of all. So their own department's hurt, and the people that work there, many of them are veterans, they're being hurt, and it's going to demolish us.
Specialist Seychow, U.S. Army Reserves. I'm here standing against fascism, Nazis, domestic terrorists, and the 1%. I stand for justice and upholding the Constitution.
Let me tell you what leadership is. Leadership is taking care of your people. Leadership is making sure no one gets left behind. And the leadership we have right now in the White House and in Congress is not leadership at all. They don't know what a fucking leader is. So on March 14th, this combat vet served in Iraq, and now I'm going to Washington, D.C. with other vets.
Second class petty officer, U.S. Navy, United States Navy. Donald Trump, this is a message for you. Quit kissing Putin's ass. You are a pathetic, disgraceful excuse for a president, and you don't belong there. J.D. Vance, you don't belong there either, you eyeliner wearing little bitch. And as for you, Elon Musk, you need to take a fucking hike. You have no business in the goddamn White House at all. You haven't done shit for this country, and you never will. You're just a rich prick that come from South Africa. Get out of my country.
And I want to say, I know we've said it a lot, I just want to say again, thank you to all the veterans that are here. So, my idea of having that video made, getting people to help make that video, and getting you guys to send in your submission to make it, I don't want it to be the only one. I want to make 100 more of those with 10 veterans on each one. So if you'll keep in touch with me through social media, I'm Cliff Cash Comedy on all social media. I'm going to be putting out calls to actions for you to be able to submit 1 minute or less videos, and we'll keep compiling 10 veterans at a time into videos like that. And we will bombard social media with those videos on every platform until it sinks into the heads of simple people that worshiping a con man and simping for Russia doesn't make you a patriot, and it doesn't make you tough. Now I'm honored to bring up the brains behind NowMarch.org and the 14th Now movement. My co-organizer, she is the founder of 14th Now, the host of Lights On. Many of you might not know this, but she's actually a former Trump aide who was the first woman to beat Trump in court in his first term. She started in 2017 without a lawyer and was able to beat Trump in court. They ended invalidating all his illegal 2016 campaign NDAs. She's also the host of Lights On with Jessica Denson on YouTube. Give it up for my friend, Jessica Denson.
How great is Cliff Cash, huh?
So you might have heard of a piece recently in The Atlantic by historian Timothy Ryback. It's called How Hitler Dismantled a Democracy in 53 Days. It's day 53 of the illegal Trump presidency. But don't fret, because we, the people, are going to dismantle the Trump administration. You know, there's been so much talk today about love and fear. And that really is the opposite of love, isn't it? It's not hate, it's fear. It's fear. I remember Jane Fonda said that not too long ago. I think she was on Jimmy Kimmel or something, and I appreciated her so much a couple weeks ago when she was at the SAG Awards accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. Brave activist, artist who has been in so many crowds like this for so many years. She knows what this fight is about. And she talked about John Lewis crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge, being willing to be beat to death for equality and justice. And she said, you remember those images and those documentaries? Well, this is your documentary moment. This is our documentary moment, and we're not going to let democracy die on our watch. We're not going to let squatter in the White House, Mr. Krasnov Bone Spurs, overrule the sacrifice of all of you for our Constitution. A Constitution that empowers we, the people. Those fearful cowards in that building behind us don't hold the power. We do. So, hate and fear versus love. I just feel like this is really a theme, because it's really, this cowardice is just so gross, isn't it? Isn't it gross? Isn't it an insult to all of our sacrifices, our love for this country? You know, when I was 5 years old, I think I had an assignment during Black History Month to give a speech where I was Marian Anderson. Beautiful singer who overcame the racism of the daughters of the American Revolution, right? Somebody's going to check me on this. And ended up singing at the other end of this mall. Beautiful. She wasn't outspoken about the justice struggle, but just being there and overcoming that inequality, that racism, was such a powerful statement. And I had this opportunity as a 5-year-old to be Marian Anderson on stage. I was really sick that day. But I wanted to do it anyway. I'm like, I'm doing it anyway. There's no way I'm not going to go be Marian Anderson. And I came away from that as a 5-year-old. I don't know what it was, but I came away from that knowing that I had to do something to change this world. And I've known it since then. And I also came away from it knowing that I could never do it from the fucking inside, excuse my language. I wanted to do it from the outside. And we have the power on the outside. That Constitution empowers us. One thing Marian Anderson said, my theme here of childhood and children, she said, hate and fear are two things which babies are not born with. And you know, a lot of people in that building behind us, most of them, Republicans and Democrats, took an oath with their hand on a Bible. Bible that says so many things that those people violate every single day. One of them says, become as a little child. Come as a little child. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, you know what? A little child can see how screwed up this picture is. A little child can see that someone who leads an army to beat law enforcement cannot be the chief law enforcement officer of the country. A little child can see that someone who cheats on their mommy with an adult film star cannot be a representative of Christianity. A little child can see that a felon cannot be a president. A little child can see that you don't go out day after day after day and just make up lies out of thin air. A little child knows decency and kindness. A little child doesn't judge our neighbors because of their skin color or their race or their religion or their gender. We need to become as a little child again. Yeah. So I have a lot of criticism for everybody in that house behind us right now. Every single one, because as we told you earlier, every single one of them abandoned this whole country on January 6th when they had a legal mechanism to stop this insanity. They had the tool. In the name of a peaceful transfer of power, they allowed the man who violated the peaceful transfer of power to enter the White House. What the hell? What the hell? You know what? I've said this kind of a little bit low-key on my show before. I'm going to say it really boldly now. I know the private correspondence that were sent from members of this body, ones that you think are the most ardent defenders of the Constitution, for not rejecting Trump's certification based on Section 3. And you know what those defenses were? They weren't that there wasn't a legal right to do it or a constitutional obligation, but their defense was that they were getting death threats. Death threats. With all the security that these people have, they put themselves into public service. They have to be willing to stand up for the Constitution. Capitulating to violence, that's just giving it up from the beginning. And we're all so peaceful here, so beautifully laying down the line and saying, this is what legally needs to be done. You need to adhere to this Constitution or get this man out of here now. But if that doesn't happen, and we're not promoting it for 1 second, but if that doesn't happen, there will be violence. And these people had the opportunity to stop it. And they didn't. They are. They're cowards, every single one of them. But I was talking about the Bible. I believe in redemption. I really do. I really do. You've heard today about some ways that they can still use Section 3. It is not dead letter. We're going to hear a little bit more about it in a few minutes. They could impeach him. They could be calling for impeachment every single day of the week. This is what authoritarians do. They try to throw so much shit at the fan that you just can't keep track of it. And it's just every day, oh my God, another thing. And you just, we can't possibly do anything. Every single day, he commits multiple impeachable offenses. That is all that the Democrats should be talking about, is getting him out of office. So in line with redemption, and I'll tell you, there was one congressperson who was invited to speak today. Can you guess who it was? One. Al Green. Representative Al Green is the only one who is doing what is necessary in this moment. Every single member of the Democratic caucus should be standing with Al Green and his articles of impeachment. So Fox News tries to create their own narrative, right? When Democrats start to do something. And Democrats are afraid of the narrative that Fox News is going to create if we go after Donald Trump. They're going to create the narrative anyway. Do the right thing. So these representatives, like Chuck Schumer today, what the hell, Chuck Schumer? I mentioned that article, the book from Timothy Ryback, Hitler's Final Rise to Power. You know what it talks about? It talks about those 53 days. And those were the 53 days that it took to get the Enabling Act, which turned Hitler into a dictator. And he didn't just get there with the fringe. Just like Donald Trump doesn't just get there with MAGA. No, MAGA's like this. He gets there with all the so-called moderate and normal Republicans. And you know who else he gets there with? He gets there with the Democrats, like Chuck Schumer. So, two things from the Bible come to me all the time about these people, every single one of them, especially the Bible-thumping Republicans. Came to me so many times when I woke up from the delusion that I believed back in 2016. Saw these people were total phonies, the Pharisees, the hypocrites. People that fly a flag but don't represent one iota of what that flag represents. And those two things from the Bible are, "O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you, you zombie apocalypse fearful cowards." The other one, kind of in the theme of lights on. If that light that is in thee is darkness, how great is that darkness? We're going to light up so friggin' bright that they don't know what to do with all the light that we shine in this country. We are going to demand, starting right now and never letting it go until it happens, that every constitutional means be used immediately to remove Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon, whoever the hell, Musk from power. .314. Constitution of the United States of America, what lets us fight towards a more perfect union, that foundation, divine and human rights, merged. Abraham Lincoln said this, you've heard it. The people of these United States are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for your service. What an enormous honor it has been for me to have been part of organizing this day. Thank you so much for being here.
You keep that mic. Let her hear it, everybody. Jessica Denson. I'm honored to bring up our next guest. This guy is a former VA policy advisor. He's a former former policy advisor for the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. He's also a Rolling Stone contributor, and he's also a Navy veteran. Give it up for Michael Embrick.
Now, I drove down from Bayonne, New Jersey, and I told I was coming to a rally, so let's hear it. The Republic, our Republic, has not been in this much peril internally since the War of 1861. The Citizens United ruling has jeopardized our democracy. Now we have our very own oligarchs who answer to no one. They've inserted themselves into government and deemed themselves despots. And our elected leaders have done nothing to stop them. But they are not going to win. Because we all have taken an oath to defend our Constitution, as many veterans like our bonus army has done before. And they have asked for another bonus army, my friends, and now they have it. It's you. Veterans don't have the luxury of waiting for Congress to act. 17 veterans every single day die by suicide. Every single day. And we've gone through pains getting that number down from 22 a day. The PACT Act and cancer research is being canceled. Their funding's being canceled while veterans die of toxic exposure and cancers. $8 million veterans are on Social Security, and they want to gut that too. One in 10 veterans gets Medicare, and we all know what they want to do with Medicare. They want to take it, recycle it in some way, and give Elon Musk more government contracts. The VA announced last week they want to fire over 80,000 employees, which would essentially gut America's only public health care system, and frankly, the only health care system in America that actually works for our veterans. The job cuts are going to destroy the lives of veterans, their livelihoods. They're going to lose their houses. They're going to lose their cars, their families, just so Elon Musk can become the first trillionaire in the world. There's something very wrong in America today, my friends. And we can't wait till 2028 because Trump isn't leaving office. Hell, we can't wait till 2026. The time is now. We need action today. Every veteran here thought our service was over after the wars of 9/11. We settled down. We found our forever person. We started a family. We got good government jobs. We rode off into the sunset. And they are taking that from us. Billionaires, think about that. Men who have done nothing, have earned nothing, have sacrificed nothing. They are taking it from us. I gotta tell you, they're really fucking with my pursuit of happiness. But I won't take it, and I know you won't. Let's tell them with one voice on this day, in this moment, that we will not wait. We will not falter, and we will not abandon our oaths to our Constitution. Thank you.
Hear it, everybody. Let him hear it. I'd like to ask something of you. I'd like to ask you to tell something to Congress for me. And maybe if we do it loud enough, maybe they'll hear us. I think some of them might be hanging around. I'd like us to tell them to do their job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Don't stop. And I'd like to ask each of you something as well. Run for office. Yeah, you. Yeah, I know. It's scary. Don't point at me either. I got too many skeletons in the closet. I don't have the decorum it takes to not insult Marjorie Taylor Greene to her face every day. But let me tell you something. If you think that they are some other echelon of people, they're not. Lauren Boebert is not smarter than you. She's not more qualified than you. Mitch McConnell's sure not more courageous than you. Right? Everybody talks about Mitch McConnell's neck, but yours would look like that too if you didn't have a spine. I want to encourage you to do all you can, including running for office. And speaking of doing all you can, I am so honored to bring up our next speaker, a person who has literally dedicated her life to peace and dedicated her life to advocating for veterans and dedicated her life to the organization of Veterans for Peace. She is a proud former Navy nurse and was court-martialed during the Vietnam War for her anti-war protests. Please give a very warm welcome to the incredible Susan Schnall.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. At this point, I happen to be president of the National Organization of Veterans for Peace. I've asked other members of Veterans for Peace to come up and join me and have you all understand that there are veterans in this country that stand for peace and social justice for all. We are an organization of former soldiers and veterans of the U.S. wars in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and various other military interventions who oppose militarism and war. We use our experience and lift our collective voice to build a culture of peace. We inform the public of the true causes and enormous costs of war and highlight our obligation to heal the wounds of war. It is an honor for me to be part of an extraordinary and special group of people, those GIs and veterans who returned from war and armed conflict to work for peace and social justice in this country. For them, it's been a wrenching, painful journey from war maker to peacemaker, to be able to question both themselves and their country that participated in armed conflict. Those once young American soldiers live with the memory of what they were involved with so many years ago. In 1967, and that was a while ago, I graduated from Stanford University wearing a black armband signifying my objection to the American war in Vietnam. I had joined the Navy Nurse Corps to care for the wounded from the war, and I learned that simply healing the soldiers might be enough, that being a part of the military war machine enabled the war to continue. Bear with me. Trump and company, we are those you have called suckers and losers who served this country in this military. We are the soldiers who served in Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq that lost over 65,000 lives, who returned home with illnesses and disabilities related to war, to Agent Orange, to burn pits, to post-traumatic stress that affected not only our lives, but those of our families, our children, and our community. We are not your crony oligarchs who got out of service because they had bone spurs or some other made-up condition, and wealthy parents that got them out of the service. We will not be erased. We served this country. Veterans make up 1/3 of the employees in the United States Department of Veteran Affairs and is facing a cut of 17% of its workforce. It is deplorable. This is creating chaos with a delay in benefits, straining claims and processing, delaying school assistance for student veterans. Delay in benefits under the congressional recently passed PACT Act that is finally recognizing the victims of burn pits in Afghanistan. It was a promise to address the Comprehensive Toxins Act, and we are now experiencing a delay. The United States Department of Veteran Affairs is the second largest agency after the Defense Department. And I would say that any time a country decides to send its people to war, it has the obligation to prepare for those who return from war. Federal law requires that veterans be given an advantage over people who have not served, and to retain veterans over other employees during layoffs, to acknowledge the government's obligation to veterans. Is that happening today? We served, and now you want to take away our needed services to feed your friends, to give them the most wealthy tax breaks at our expense. Whose interests are you all serving besides your own? We are all immigrants except for the native people whose land we stole, whose cultures we have tried to decimate, whose healthcare services, education, housing, social services from the United States government have continued to decrease in quality over the years. And Trump, you too are an immigrant, even though your grandfather immigrated in 1885. And let me remind you, immigrants are human beings. They're not aliens. And certainly not illegal aliens, as you and your cronies call them. Your stories equating immigrants with danger and criminality are not new. This happens after surges in immigration by new groups. The Irish, Catholic, Jewish, Italian, Mexican, Japanese, Chinese, and German people were often followed by backlashes linking them with crime and disorder. This centuries-old fable is aimed at boosting a politics of exclusion, not one seriously concerned with the true causes of crime. Narratives equating immigrants with danger and criminality are nothing new. And a reminder to all of you, immigrants pay taxes. They pay taxes. That information is contained in the files of the Internal Revenue Service database. That is why they and Musk and Trump want to get access to those files so they can then find out the new immigrants and try to deport them. And unlike you, Mr. President, these people pay taxes. They work in construction, agriculture, senior care, hospitality. What will you do when they're gone? The United States military has assisted in more than a dozen military deportation flights to Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Ecuador, Peru, and India. And this administration has also flown Venezuelan migrants to the U.S. Naval Base in Guantanamo Bay. They said late in January that the administration would prepare to detain up to 30 migrants there. And a reminder to everybody, 30,000, yes. Private prisons are crashing in as part of the administration's plan to hold undocumented immigrants. At a rally in Iowa on October 16, 2023, he declared, quote, "In the wake of the attacks on Israel, Americans have been disgusted to see the open support for terrorists among legions of foreign nationals on college campuses." Quote, "They're teaching your children hate." No, Mr. Trump, we're teaching our children to love. To stop the killing, to stop the genocide on the people of Gaza. To stop the destruction of the land, of all living things, because we choose to love and not hate. You and your supplicants are the ones teaching, preaching hate, not those working for peace. You try to label the protesters of genocide on college campuses as threats to American foreign policy. Well, Mr. President, I disagree with your foreign policy in Gaza. Let me go further. I am a Jew opposed to your foreign policy in Gaza. Are you going to label me as anti-Semitic and try to deport me too? Like Mohammed Khalil, who was kidnapped from Columbia University housing, arrested, and is held in a Louisiana detention facility. Because his presence in the United States is adversarial to this country's foreign policy and national security interests. Let me be clear. Genocide, the supplying of armaments to a country that is committing genocide, is against the interests of this country. You are adversarial to the American people. You and the arms makers are adversarial to national security interests of this country. You are committing war crimes. You support Israel as it unleashes hell and destruction on the people in Gaza with total impunity. Israel has carried out acts prohibited under the Genocide Convention with a specific intent to destroy Palestinians. These include killings, causing serious bodily harm or mental harm, and deliberately inflicting on Palestinians in Gaza conditions of life calculated to bring about their destruction. Month after month, Israel has treated Palestinians in Gaza as a subhuman group, unworthy of human rights and dignity. Last year, in February of 2024, Veterans for Peace wrote to Secretary of State Anthony Blinken about the violations of the Geneva Genocide Convention and national law, drawing the connection between shipments of weapons to Israel and the committing of genocide against the people in Gaza. And 1 year ago, on February 25th, Aaron Bushnell, an active duty airman, spoke, quote, "I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide." Yes, Aaron. I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. And at that moment, he doused his body in gasoline and set himself on fire. Too many of us in Veterans of Peace have seen the suffering war creates, and it never leaves our memories. All of us agonize over our government's aiding and abetting the of innocence. These policymakers, swaddled in privilege, take their orders from those who profit from death and suffering. We know who they are, the people who run Boeing, Raytheon, General Dynamics, and their fellow merchants of death, and the people who finance what the merchants do. They operate on a grand scale internationally, but also on a singular small scale. They as much as lit the match for Aaron Bushnell. The fire that killed Alan Bushnell was simply the collateral damage, as it's so callously called, of the ongoing conflagration in Palestine. Hey, America, listen to us. We were the soldiers you sent to Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Iraq, Afghanistan, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Niger, Syria. Through television and social media, we are witness to the antipathy and ignorance of the American public as wars rage at home toward those in poor communities and people of color. We are incited by news organizations that constantly blast accounts of the war on Gaza and in Ukraine and the Middle East as though we're watching a football game, leading the cheering section of revelers. Let me tell you, as a veteran who cared for soldiers during the American war in Southeast Asia, war injures all who participate. It kills the body and soul. It damages communities and families. It impacts generations. And who profits? The war industry, the merchants of death that produce and distribute armaments. It drains our social resources that are life-sustaining, our education, healthcare, social services, housing, and uses those resources for death and destruction. And most of us continue to go on with our lives, overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenges facing us. We who know the truth have a responsibility to share it with others, to organize to lead the way toward a sustainable future. War and militarism are destroying the planet. Hey, America, wake up and listen to me. We are at war in this country, on this land. We are killing our children. We have become the monster in the world that produces more armaments, more battleships, more drones that annihilate whole communities with the push of a button. We destroy our young. We kill school children with impunity. We poison our water and food supply. We send our military might all over the world and use it against people of color here. America, what have we become? How did we become immune to the dead children in Texas and Georgia, Chicago, and Parkland, killed by gun violence? How did we become immune to school children killed by guns produced in America, by gunmen produced in America? We export our military violence to the highest bidder, and today, that is Israel. America, we supply the arms used to the Palestinian children in Gaza. We starve the children in Gaza as we starve children in other parts of the world. We look for wars as outlets for our munitions industry. We perpetuate violence in the Middle East. We starve, imprison, attack civilians in Gaza. Let me be clear. Veterans for Peace opposes all targeting of civilians. We denounce the Hamas attacks on civilians and children as we denounce the Israeli attacks on Gaza. Our government uses our tax dollars to inflame the struggle and fighting in the Middle East and in Ukraine. Without the continuation and the start of a ceasefire in Ukraine, this war, like all wars, will continue to escalate. We must break the pattern of escalating violence that feeds hatred, escalates violence, creates orphans, and self-replicates indefinitely. It is our tax dollars that have made America the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today. I think of those lives changed forever by war and conflict. And along with millions of others, rededicate myself to healing the wounds of war, to working for peace and social justice, to bringing an end to armed conflict, to move us from a war economy to a peace economy, to care for those harmed, and to stop this insanity called war wherever it is. To end corporate power and destruction, to be life-giving instead of death-giving. For if we, and I know there's a lot of veterans here, if we who have known war don't dedicate ourselves to ending it, who will? Thank you.
Hear it, everybody. Make some noise. Next, we have a video from Evan Bernick. He's a constitutional scholar, author of The Meaning of the 14th Amendment. He explains with Jessica why Section 3 is still in effect. Congress doesn't need to do anything but acknowledge that Trump is disqualified to change the entire national conversation. Without a 2/3 amnesty vote, which they will never get, his presidency remains invalid, and we should start treating it that way. Please enjoy the video.
We're in a peculiar state of affairs, an alarming state of affairs, in which we have an ongoing constitutional violation in the form of the current head of the executive branch. In talking about Section 3 enforcement by Congress, we are not talking, or we shouldn't be talking, as if Congress needs to do something before Section 3 kicks in, and we can say that we have an unconstitutional executive. Instead, the point of raising an amnesty bill is to draw attention to the fact that in order to have an insurrectionist hold any office under the United States, you need a 2/3 majority of Congress to say, yes, we're okay with this. So an amnesty bill isn't about saying that Donald Trump now, in virtue of what Congress has just done, is not constitutionally eligible for the office. It's designed to draw attention to the fact that he is currently violating the Constitution by being in office, and Congress would have to do something in order to change that. Now, realistically, 2/3 majority of Congress, not going to be easy to come by. However, talking about realism, what is it legally possible to do, institutionally possible
But
to
that's
do?
in our favor, just to clarify, because you're not going to get that very high threshold to remove the disqualification.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So really, failure on any level is a success.
Failure on any levels this is a success because it keeps us talking about the fact that we have an unconstitutional person at the head of the executive branch.
So this is something that the Democrats could be doing right now. And if we can kind of just bring this out of the academic discussion and to real life and what these politicians, these people who seem to be, especially on the Democratic side, so prone to playing by the rules when the other side is just throwing the rule book out the window and setting everything on fire. Can you just give me your sense, both as a constitutional scholar and just as someone who is living as we're literally seeing democracy going up in flames, on what these politicians should be thinking about what's acceptable and what's normal to do right now along these lines?
Right now, the executive branch is not only pushing the boundaries of the legally possible, it is running roughshod over them as quickly and, if we can call it, creatively as it can, as fast as it can.
Maybe deviously, huh?
Yes, deviously, right. If we are not prepared to respond in kind, if we are not prepared to get creative, to do things that at first blush you may think, well, Section 3 enforcement, he's already in office. What are we supposed to do about that? We risk closing ourselves off of a number of options that, yes, they have a low probability of working, but they don't put us in the position of just accepting a continuously lawless state of affairs as normal. Every opportunity we have to say, no, they can't do this. Constitutionally, it is illegitimate for them to do this, that we can think of, we've got to seize on. We've got to take advantage of. Because we know that they are trying on the other side to think of any devious means that they can to legitimize themselves.
Okay, I'm going to bring up our next guest. Guys, I know that we've had a lot of speakers. I know you've been standing for a long time. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying for the whole thing. Please stay. We're almost done. We've got a couple more speakers. We're almost done, and we're going to have some really important announcements to make at the end of this, including about tomorrow, about an event later today, tomorrow, and the next day. We're also going to give you some call to action. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. Yep. Thank you for all of your input and coaching me throughout this event. Without you. This mic is questionable. This next guy, I never met him in person until today, despite, coincidentally, growing up in towns literally right beside each other in North Carolina. He's a North Carolina native. He joined the Army at 18 and spent 13 years in military intelligence. He joined social media in 2020. He currently has over 6 million followers across platforms. That's where I know him from, and you probably know him too. Give it up for Jolly Good Ginger.
What's up, DC? What's up, veterans? I'm going to do something before I get started. Let me see if this works. R.I.P. Nipsey. Listen, before I say what I got to say, I'm going to say what needs to be said. Currently, the unqualified, undeserving Fox News host that has the title of Secretary of Defense, he is attempting to erase the history of our armed forces. You see, you understand that there were black, indigenous, and people of color who went to war for this country only to come home to be hated. And they are erasing that right now. They're taking it out of the books. They're taking it out of the museums. You can't do it. The Tuskegee Airmen existed. The Buffalo Soldiers existed. Black soldiers went to World War II and came home to no GI Bill. These same soldiers drafted in Vietnam and came home to no home, only hate. We are American history. The veterans of this country and the people that fight beside us, no matter their race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, identification, every single one of them have more patriotism in their fucking pinky than that goddamn draft dodger Trump. How dare he sit in that Oval Office and delegitimize veterans of this country, fire employees of the Veterans Affairs, take away the things we have fought for. Speaking of fighting, when my country called me and said, go to Iraq, Jolly, I went. When my country called me and said, go to Afghanistan, Jolly, I went. Well, now my country's called me to come to Washington and fuck it, I'm here. If you think that it's going to be as easy as they think it was going to be, sorry, you're wrong. We come with demands. Let me list them for you. Right now, in the building behind me, in the Senate chamber, there is a vote for cloture happening right now. Demand number one, Senate Democrats, get your head out of your ass. Senator Chuck Schumer, I'm talking to you. Vote no on cloture, or we will do what we do best and we will rally the troops to make sure you never see a re-election. You will not win a seat in this Senate, in this Congress, without the support of these veterans. Vote no on cloture now. Demand number two. Currently, there is an unelected South African billionaire running amok in our capital. My instructions for this is clear. Get his ass out. He needs to go now, not yesterday, and tomorrow's too fucking late. What does he know about efficiency? What does he know about patriotism? What does he know about government? He only knows what's in his best interest. How dare we allow this? Get him out. Demand number three. And this is our final demand. House Democrats, you have what you need. Trump has done enough. Impeach him now. You cannot pass executive orders that are in direct violation of our Constitution. You can't take an oath to the same Constitution that you wipe your ass with. You cannot come in and day out and ignore the courts, ignore the legislative branch, ignore the checks and balances. You cannot call yourself the law as he has done. This is grounds for impeachment. House Democrats, that's your sign. Impeach him now. Do your job. Lastly, the last thing I want to say is to the people standing here today, especially the veterans of this country, the families of veterans of this country, those who support the veterans of this country. People say to me all the time, Jolly, what do we do? Organize. That's what I'm going to tell you now. Leave here. As I came in today, a lot of people come and said hi to me. By the way, I appreciate you, love you, thank you for the support. I asked them, where'd you come in from? Colorado, New York, Washington, Connecticut, Vermont, from sea to shining sea. So that means when you leave here, you will go back home to Connecticut, Vermont, New York, Colorado, California. When you get there, organize. When you get there, organize. We, the people, have more power than the people in power. But if we don't organize, it means nothing. I was talking to Senator Booker last week, and he said something I agree with. He said, if you look back to all the movements in this history of our country, civil rights movements, women's suffrage movements, all right, all the movements throughout time, we can list them all. It all involved people in the street. It all involved a mass organization of people. And I know that everybody's waiting on somebody to do it. Here's your sign. That wasn't loud enough. Here's your sign. So I'm going to close out on this. If you're a veteran in this group, I want you to join me when I say this. I state your name. Do hereby swear. To defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign. Go ahead. Love you guys.
The people united can never be defeated. 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 I said it at the beginning of the day, and I want to say it again. By yourself, you are a drop of water. Together, we are a flood. And flood is what we got to do. I'm pleased and honored to introduce this next veteran. Please make some noise for the Honorable Jesus Manuel Valenzuela.
All right. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here today. I've been traveling all over the United States. I have an RV which is parked right there, and I call it the RV of justice. In 2008, my brother came over to my house and I asked him, middle of 2008, hey, have you got your VA benefits? He said, no. Come on, man. I took him to the VA hospital, and we signed up for benefits. We both were in Vietnam. He was there in 68, 69, Army with a Bronze Star. And thank you. And I'm a Marine, and I was there in Vietnam in 71, 72. We did a lot of, I don't even want to say anything about this. But anyway, it gets to me, all the things we had to do. But from all this that's been here, I've been traveling all over the world. I've been in this place right here, the Capitol, the White House, I've been the monument there. Everywhere I've been fighting the deportation of military veterans. In 2000, so hello?
It turned off.
Turned off.
Hello. Need a mic.
Hello. They don't like me today. What's this? You guys ran all that. Hello? Hello? Testing 1, 2. Hello? There you go. There you go. Okay, coming back to all this. When we volunteered to go to, got our benefits, we went and signed up for benefits middle of 2008. Well, January 5th of 2009, I got a letter from Homeland Security to appear in court to be deported from this country, to go to Denver. So January 29th, I drove to Denver, and I could not believe it. The judge goes, hey, where's your lawyer? I said, what do I need a lawyer for? You know, and he goes, Mr. Valenzuela, you're in proceedings to be deported from this country. I said, Your Honor, I'm a Marine. And I fought in Vietnam, and I'm a Marine, you know? And he goes, it don't matter. I said, what? And then I said, he goes, Homeland Security, what he said, you're going to have to go get yourself a lawyer, and 30 or 40 days more, you're going to come back. I said, whoa. On the way home from Denver to Colorado Springs, halfway to the house, one of my brothers called me up, hey, go to the Memorial Hospital. Mom just died. I said, what? So I drove straight to the hospital, and I saw my mom, and I said, wow. And all my family were there. I said to myself, I'm not going to say nothing about me here. It's her day. Excuse me. Well, anyway, I didn't say a thing about it, so I just took it, and then later on, I was working on paperwork about her death, and I saw a paper saying my mom was born in Lubbock, New Mexico, in the United States. I was like, yeah. Six of us were born in Mexico, and 6 in the United States. Mom and Dad were busy. I mean, it was beautiful. 8 brothers and 4 sisters. I mean, that was something. We were working in the fields and all that, but the idea is coming back. I was looking at the paperwork, and I said, well, there's something about my mom being born in the United States. I went to the library, and I asked the guy to help me out, and I found the statute that said, the second I took breath in Mexico, I'm an American citizen. I said, yes! So I got the document, and then about the next month, my brother came to my house, and he looked like hell. I mean, I said, hey, bro, what's wrong with you? He goes, take a look at this. The same document that he got to be deported from this country. I said, whoa. I said, I'll be right back. I put it on the table. I went to my room, and I got mine, and I put mine by his. He looked at it. He goes, whoa, you too? I said, yeah. I said, goes to show you, when we apply for benefits, military benefits that we earned the right to do, to fight, and we did. He saved. He got a Bronze Star. He saved 2 FBI agents interrogating the Viet Cong. And he got loose, and he got them all beat up, but he got in there, and he saved them. The idea is, I found out that second that we went and filed for benefits, they find ways to get rid of us. You know what I'm saying? That money right there, every veteran that puts his life on the line, when he lifts his hand and gives the oath to protect America, 100% American. He puts his life to be American, and people that come from other countries, like, right there, they pay money to be American citizens. And veterans have been deported. Without us, none of you be here, standing here and having this freedom. All this freedom is because we put our lives on the line to protect it the rest of our lives. I'm doing it now still. I got that RV, and I want everybody, before I forget, when this is over, all of you are welcome to go on that side of the fence right there. You see my RV, and we'll take a big picture. Whoever wants to be around it with you guys are invited to take a picture of it. But the idea, we have to keep fighting because it's very important that this president of the United States, I do tell him, by the way, when he was president way back, I wrote him a letter. I wrote him a letter way back when I got the removal notice from me and my brother. I asked him to help us. You know what? A 5-page letter, and I wrote all the things that's been happening about veterans being deported. I got a letter from him. You know what I'm saying? I got a letter from him. I couldn't believe it. And you know what he said? Oh, Mr. Valenzuela, I see your situation. Oh, thank you for your service. I said, what? That's the kind of commander-in-chief we have here? That I believe in the United States of America, a commander-in-chief should be a military veteran or a soldier. That's supposed to be. Because that's commander-in-chief of the military. We don't have a commander-in-chief in the military up there. He's just a sissy lala and worthless. To me, that's a disgrace to America and all the countries of the world. See how ugly this person is here. It's violating our oath that we always said. We never leave nobody behind. Am I right, Marine? Never. And I carried him from Vietnam. I carried wounded. You don't do this. So to everybody, sympathize for all of you. And you can all come and we'll take a picture. And I'm going up back to Colorado Springs. And I'm going to say, you know what, Veterans of Peace, they've been following me around all the time. Everywhere I go, they're there. They're number one. I love you guys and all you other groups here. And I'm very proud. And thank you all to let me speak out. And let's get him out of the office. He's worthless. And that rich guy can get the hell out of here. All right. All you guys.
Let him hear it, everybody. We got a couple more speakers. Hang with us. We're going to give you some calls to action for today, tomorrow, and the next day, and some general calls to action. Just stick with us. We've got a video now. How many of you listen to the podcast Gaslit Nation? Okay, well, I was expecting a bigger response. Well, if you don't, you should. It's incredible. The host of the podcast is named Andrea Chalupa. She's an authoritarian expert and documentary filmmaker. She was with us in January, and she's going to join us now by video. Give her a round of applause, please.
It's Andrea Chalupa from the podcast Gaslit Nation. I'm also the writer and producer of the journalistic thriller Mr. Jones about Stalin's genocide famine in Ukraine, a film that shows that Russia has been trying to viciously genocide, colonize Ukraine for a very long time now. And Putin is just the latest dictator in Moscow, trying to kill off as many Ukrainians as possible, take their land, and replace their towns and cities with Russians. And he's using mass murder. He's using buying off useful idiots in the West, like Trump and Vance, to do this. It's history repeating. And if you want to see this history, watch my film, Mr. Jones. You can get it for free from your local library. There's some streaming services that you could rent it from. There's also a book called In the Shadow of Stalin, The Story of Mr. Jones. I am telling you all this because as someone who has researched Kremlin aggression for decades, it's playing out just like it always has. And the way the Kremlin operates is that They carry out a lot of horrible acts of war against their closest neighbors. They start with state propaganda because all genocides begin with hate speech. So they take to the air in TV and radio stations that the government controls or oligarchs that they have in their pocket control. And they start making claims to land. They start saying that Ukrainians don't exist. Ukrainians aren't it's not a real country. And they're saying the same about Poland, Baltic states like Estonia, Lithuania, and so on. And it doesn't stop. Why does it not stop? Because Russia is committed to have its empire back. Instead of taking care of their own people, investing in their own people and building a strong, stable democracy, which would be risky to the ruling oligarchs. They would lose their power. They'd have to be accountable to the people. They'd have to face elections. They don't want to do that. So instead, they rely, in order to stay the most powerful court of oligarchs in the world, they rely on totalitarianism. They rely on creating enemies within and without. That is what this is all about. They want to live above international law. They want to enrich themselves, and they buy off people around the world in order to do that. And so what you see playing out in the US is just the Kremlin's playbook going back a very long time now. They did this under the Soviets, and they're doing it now under Putin. And it's not surprising to any of us who have been watching Russia's many wars in recent years, who predicted that we were headed towards a war in Ukraine, who predicted that Donald Trump was just a Kremlin Trojan horse. There's a reason why he sounds like a Russian asset. It's because he is. Now, the institutions that were supposed to protect American democracy, American sovereignty, failed us. Merrick Garland clung to norms while Republicans were setting those norms on fire. That failed us. And the Democrats in Congress, they could have been fighting for a ban on Trump and other traitors to our country, other seditionists who were part of Trump's violent attempted coup on January 6th. The Democrats could have stand firm with the US Constitution and say, according to the 14th Amendment, Article 3 of the US Constitution, Trump and those who aided him in Congress on January 6th, their violent attempt to try to overthrow our democracy, the will of the people, they should be banned from holding office. That should have been the big mission in the weeks that followed January 6th, 2021. So the Democratic Party establishment failed us. Now, every single elected official, every single patriot left in America's crumbling institutions need to believe their eyes and ears of what's happening. Trump, Musk, and Vance are destroying America from within. They're moving very quickly because this is a purge. They are openly, gleefully destroying people's lives, ripping away their jobs, ripping away what's left of their safety nets to stay alive. Social Security, Medicaid, all of that is on the chopping block. They're going for all of it. Why? Because they are traitors to this country, trying to destroy America within so that we will be easier to conquer, so they can establish a dictatorship and keep us in check. Same dictator playbook that Putin used to consolidate his power in Russia. And they're going to rule over the ashes of what was once America and join the immense wealth and lack of accountability of the Russian oligarchs. And together they're going to rule the world in their spheres of influence, in their little neighborhoods. That is the plan here. We're seeing it play out. Our time to stop them was years ago. But again, our institutions failed at that all-important job. And so now to the patriots who are left among us, who have any lever of power, no matter how seemingly small, you need to use it now. You need to use it now. We need to use everything that we have, marching, protests, even showing up to the offices of Democratic officials, demanding that they fight. And if they're too tired or scared to fight, then step aside and let someone else do the fighting in their place. They shouldn't be there in this moment in history that is calling to them. We also need to write letters, be vocal on social media, run for office, primary representatives who are useless right now. We need to understand that they are scared of us, just like Putin is, and the Russian oligarchs are afraid of the Russian people. That's why they have so many laws to try to contain them in a prison. And they're also scared of Ukrainians for showing the world that Russia can be stood up to, that Russia can be contained. Remember, Kiev was supposed to fall in 3 days. It's still free. So the Ukrainians showed us the way. And the only way is being brave, being strong, and standing up to these idiots. And we are going to do that together. There's more of us than there are them. And ultimately, they are stupid because they don't know how to govern. They're just simply not smart enough to govern. So they're like cavemen that just want to club us over the head and drag us back into the cave. Like, they're dumb, okay? So have confidence in their stupidity. Have confidence that they're scared of us. Have confidence that there's more of us than there are them, and that together we're going to get through this. But we need all of the patriots out there, wherever you are, to stand strong in our collective wisdom and our collective light, and know that this fight, ultimately, we will prevail. And if you need a guide right now, which I think everyone should have one, I strongly urge you to Google the book by Gene Sharp, From Dictatorship to Democracy. It is a handbook of revolution, and it has inspired revolutions, revolts in Hong Kong, across the Arab Spring, and in Ukraine. And one thing we have to keep in mind, sometimes a revolution doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes generations, but those seeds are planted and they're undeniable. And I know this from, again, studying how authoritarianism works and resistance to those regimes. Everything we do matters. Everything we do plants an important seed for change. So don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on each other. Fight like hell. And by doing this, we are breaking through their dam and building a better and brighter future for all of us. And ultimately, good will prevail over evil.
A 5051 DC, huge shout out. Amazing organizing these people are doing every single day. We have thousands out here. They show up when there are 2, when there are 12. They show up for everything. So massive shout out to 5051 DC. Yep. Also to American Opposition. You heard Carlos. You love Carlos. American Opposition. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Sons of Liberty family. Wouldn't have happened without this guy right here, Cliff Cash. Give it up for Cliff Cash. Jolly Good Ginger. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our speakers, from scholars to influencers, comedians, pastors. You got it all today. Thank you most of all to you, our veterans. This is for you. Veterans for peace. Veterans for peace. Susan Schnall, everybody. All right, so I'm going to make a very, very important announcement, but hold 1 second, because one of our 14th now OGs, Stephen, gave me this letter. Oh, God, I got to share this with you. I got to leave you with this note. This is from his representative, Representative Susan Delbini in Washington State. This is her excuse for not invoking Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Like you, I believe former President Trump's actions have jeopardized the integrity of our elections, put our national security at risk, and placed his interests above those of the American people and our allies. Should legislation regarding the use of the 14th Amendment come before the full House of Representatives for a vote, I will be sure to keep your views in mind. Again, thank you for taking the time to express your thoughts and concerns. Let me be crystal clear. No new legislation is required to establish that Donald Trump is disqualified. We don't have a president right now. We don't have one. All right. Okay. All right, guys, here's the big announcement. We are Do your job. 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 I got to make this crystal clear to you guys. When you leave this rally, and you're going to come with us later, so when you leave this weekend, when you leave this, you need to demand that everybody from Chuck Schumer to AOC, from Jared Moskowitz to Jasmine Crockett, start demanding Donald Trump's removal from office. Don't give them a dime until they do. Don't give them a dime. Don't retweet their rage posts. You make them take action. Okay. All right, so here's the plan. We planned 314. The idea was to encircle the institutions of power to make our presence undeniable. We just got some, as many permits as we possibly could. So we have another permit at Black Lives Matter Plaza. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the disgusting capitulation that has happened by the D.C. mayor to Donald Trump's threats to defund. So guess what? Black Lives Matter Plaza is in a state of demolition at this moment. But you know what? We're going there anyway. So I know we call this a march, but it's just kind of, some casual nomenclature. We're not going to technically march, guys, okay? No technical marching. But we are going to reconvene, get there how you get there. We are going to reconvene at Black Lives Matter Plaza tonight where we are permitted, thank you very much, from 5 to 7 p.m. This is for you. You've heard from all of us. This is for you tonight. You bring your bullhorns, you bring your signs. We're going to be right in where Donald Trump is illegally squatting in that house and demand that he be removed. Join us tonight at Black Lives Matter Plaza. And then we're not done. We're not done because this is a 3-day descent on DC, right? Okay. So tomorrow, noon to 2. This is so important. Friggin' media out there, man. They're not doing their jobs. We are going to Upper Senate Park. Upper Senate Park, it's right there in that vicinity. You won't miss us. Right adjacent to MSNBC, Fox, and CNN's right up the street. 12 to 2. Cliff will be there with you, and the front of those media outlets will be in Upper Senate Park for a congregation. 12 to 2, media protest tomorrow. I'm going to let Cliff take it from here.
So I told you guys a little bit earlier when I was talking to Jessica and Tim on, yes, fuck Fox News. Tucker Carlson is a Russian asset. Rupert Murdoch is married to a woman whose ex-husband was a Russian oligarch. Her son-in-law is a Russian oligarch. And Tucker Carlson is literally a Russian asset. There's no doubt about it. Imagine thinking that you're an alpha male and idolizing Tucker Carlson or Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or Nick Fuentes, these doughy, soft-handed country club fascist scum. But I told you I had a 4-part plan, and it's really a 5. When I talked with Jessica and Tim, the first one was a veterans protest. We did that today. Thank you so much. The second one was this. We have had national protests in every state capital, not just every state capital, every large city, not just every large city, every decent-sized town, not just every decent-sized town, small towns, national parks, all over this country. We are showing up, and the media is not. So I don't know what your sign for tomorrow says, but mine is 10 feet wide, and it's going to be facing Fox News, and it says, "Ignore us now, cowards." And I'm going to look like a real dumbass if I'm there by myself. So I need you with me. Fox News address is 400 North Capitol Street. We're going to be in the park just across the street from it. I'm going to be on the sidewalk right in front of the place. And here's what I need you to do. I don't want us to be loud the entire time, but once we're there and we've heard our speakers and we've kind of made our presence known, for about 10 minutes, I want every one of you to be as loud as you can. That means drums, horns, whistles, kazoos, tambourine, that thing, more cowbell, whatever you got. And they're going to peek through the blinds of their ivory castle, and they're going to hear the loudest shit they've ever heard in their life, and they're going to see a sign that says, "Ignore us now, cowards." On Sunday, we're going to take it to the Heritage Foundation. The leader of the Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts, once wrote, "This revolution will remain bloodless if the left allows it." And I want to say, that's awful tough talk for a country club fascist that couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag.
God bless America. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.